Baliva.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Down in front of out and joining us today. Pregame. Eminian.
I'm just to finally get in.
Yeah, I know. You've been as we get ready to finish up homestand, and you've got your weekly column ran in the paper today that is on the Journal Star, available online at p.com. It's been going of late, but really it's been something special, and you got the cover.
It's the strength of it has been really all year. The foundation that they have is really special, and you've been able to watch during your work with these guys develop. They put 4 pitchers up to the next level, and this team is right in contention and holding down at the moment a playoff spot. It gives them a pretty feeling.
Yeah, I've mentioned that kind of somebody different every day, every game, and doing that. But the pitching, you could kind of say the same thing. We get a new guy yesterday, Ian McKinney, goes out there 7 innings, no earned runs, 8 strikeouts. It's like he was just following along with what Austin Gomber and Matt Pearson and Jack Flaherty had already done in this homestand. Yeah,
it's almost like it's expected when these guys come in here, and that was a really strong outing and had his team in position to win.
Been covering sports teams in Peoria now for parts of 3 decades, and we're actually parts of 4 decades, and working into this. And obviously it's changed the last 5 or 6 years, not only how you get a team, but how you support it and how you get it out to the public with social media and doing things on video and that stuff. But then also just how people find it. You know, they get now you look at hits instead of the subscribers and where it's delivered at home. How has that changed as a reporter and as a beat writer? How has that changed the way that you approach the day-to-day?
Well, there's no news cycle anymore. It's not a 24-hour cycle. It's literally minute to minute,
right.
Especially with things like Twitter and Facebook out there. You're always on,
right?
And the news is in real time. As a newspaper, our focus now is digital first,
right?
And we want to get things up on the web. There's no space limitations on the web,
right?
So you can get very creative. You can get into guys' story a little deeper, and you can start with photos. I really like that. Just talked to Darren Seferina before the game here today, and we'll have something online by the end of the evening on him, and people can get to know him.
And the video part's a big thing. When something happens during the game, you've got your phone up there in the press box, whether it's a walk-off hit. I know you had when Joe did here, when they're Burlington, when their man rejected, and you're able to and rates hits for you too.
Yeah, and the generation of out there, that's and consume their news through video and shorter and faster real-time things like that. And the day of just waiting for the newspaper to get to you in the morning,
right,
isn't enough.
For a year, the chair as the beat writer over at the Rivermen and in the Rivermen Hall of Fame and doing that. What's the biggest difference? And I'm not going to let you say that we play every day and hockey does it, but what's the biggest difference in dealing with the Rivermen, whether it was from their ECHL days, the AHL, or now in the SPHL, and dealing with these guys in the Midwest League on baseball?
Well, these guys are terrific to work with. And there's so many stories to tell here, and as you know, and with your help, identifying what these stories are, and not so much concentrating on personality and field, and it really works better that way. Now, in terms of the challenge in it, I think after 31 years, I'm pretty comfortable over on the Riverman side of it, and I have that context and all of that, so it's a little easier for me. Things are faster over there.
Yeah.
I'm still adjusting to this over here, and that's where I lean on guys like you and the manager Joe Krusel, who's just awesome with his access and his ideas and his staff. I'll tell you what, you don't want me to say the everyday nature of the game is hard, but that's the biggest challenge from a newspaper perspective. It really is a grind.
And you mentioned the access. One of the cool things you guys did last year was you mic'd Joe up for a game and had a bunch of different cool things, which is something that you brought to the table with your guys over the Journal-Star, and Joe jumped all over, and that was probably one of the funner things that you've done with this.
Oh, I think so, and they're just the organization here seems to understand that it's not just about covering games. It's about entertaining your customers, our customers, and people, and we want to be able to tell good stories.
A couple stories that have stuck out for you. I know what one's going to be, or at least I think I know what one's going to be. The 2 years. What are some stories that you've been able to write and cover?
Well, I'll tell you what. We had a kid named Tanner Vavra.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming.
He had one eye and playing second base, hitting .333, and that was a heck of a story to be able to tell people. And you have a guy with 2 handfuls ship, and there's kinds of floating around the park like so much to talk. Darren's going to Little League World Series, and we're going into that Little League World Series now. There's just all kinds of guys like that. I sat down at the end of the season and I looked, and I had about really was happy to have had the chance to do.
The other cool thing, and people know a little behind the scenes, kind of pull the curtain back a little bit for people here, but most times, especially in the summer, you're able to bring your youngest to the ball game, and Nick sits up there with us and sits next to Dad. Sometimes he's got his own. Actually, today I think he's over in his own little booth, and he's got the iPad and wants to follow in your footsteps. And big Chiefs fan, putting these posters up on his wall, and he just enjoys coming to work with Dad, doesn't he?
He said the other day, I told him, I said, I probably won't be doing this much longer. He said, Dad, don't worry. When you're an old man and too gray to write anymore, I'll be in your chair.
Yeah, there you go. And he will, too. That's the best part. He's taking over, and I know when we're on the road, he's the one keeping you updated on what we're doing. So.
Oh, yeah, he watches every game online, and he's at the ballpark every day, hangs out with everybody. You guys were gracious enough to give him his own pass, and he just thinks he's a big deal.
And school starts in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's concerned that he might not be available for all the potential playoff games.
What grade is it?
He's going to 5th grade at
yeah,
Elmwood.
so we can talk to the teacher. We can get him out of some of those morning classes. You know,
get him out of
it's
there.
fine. Yeah, we'll teach him over here. Well, I know we both got to get back upstairs, get to work. Dave, pleasure. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was worth the wait. Absolutely, sure was. Our beat writer from the Journal-Star, Dave Eminian. Check out all his stuff, pjstar.com, on Twitter, Icetime Cleve as well. Huge thanks to the Children's Hospital of Illinois for sponsoring the lunch boxes for the first 1,000 kids 12 and under today coming through the gates. Also, the Peoria Journal-Star and CityLink for those player posters of Paul DeYoung as well. We're going to be on the road for 6 games. We got 2 off days, so it's 8 days away from the ballpark. We'll be back here on the 18th of August. That homestand includes a Thirsty Thursday, a Dollar Dog Wednesday, also a couple fireworks shows, a Joe Girardi canvas giveaway, and also coming up another player poster on that Sunday 2 weeks from today. So we hope to see you back at the ballpark for a start of 6-game homestand on the 18th. For today, sit back, relax, cheer the Chiefs on, trying to win this series against Fort Wayne, and we thank you for spending your Sunday with us here at Dozer Park.